Spittin' It with Mark and Monica.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Spittin' It.
It has been a minute.
Yes, it's been a while since we've done our last podcast.
We have had a lot going on, and we decided it was time to check in with everybody. Well, and I guess, how's everybody doing? The reason why we haven't been on is COVID has struck our family. I don't know how everybody else out there is doing, but we have been diligent about washing our hands, taking care of ourselves, wearing masks. I am triple vaccinated, double vaccinated, and boosted, and yet I still caught COVID.
Yep, I brought it home.
And
I brought home COVID. Mine was the Delta version, and I am unvaccinated. Mine took total of 14 days to clear, and I needed all 14 of those days to clear before heading back to work.
Mark was pretty sick.
I was.
He had way more harsh symptoms than I did.
Yes, and they were not fun. I think a good depiction of it would be if there's a show on Apple TV with Jennifer Aniston called Morning Show, and I think it was one of the last episodes, season 2. She gets it, and I think it depicts it for the unvaccinated very well.
Yeah.
The chills, the constant no energy. You're just cold, and then you're hot, and then you're cold, and you have no energy. And that was the biggest thing for me.
And yours was more than 2 weeks. I know it was 2 weeks you were home, but
Yeah.
you actually had it for 3 weeks because you had it for a week before we figured out it was COVID.
Yeah, I just thought it was either a cold or it was possibly the flu. I worked until I was just like, this is ridiculous, because I get over stuff fairly quickly.
Yeah, you're not a sick person.
This one was lingering, and I'm like, this is not the flu or the cold. And then I went and set up a test at Walgreens online.
Yeah,
and
it was easy.
Got in the next day, and we did a lab test, which takes 2 to 3 days to get back. And
Mark's came back within 2 days positive, and so then Alex and I went and got tested, and Alex was negative. His came back right away within 24 hours. So I was expecting mine to come back. Mine didn't come back for almost 72, and I was positive. And I had all of the same symptoms that Mark had, but I just had a much milder version of them. I had the chills. I had aches and pains. I had all that, but I think you could definitely tell the difference, at least for us, between the vaccinated and the unvaccinated. Because side by side, Mark was way sicker than I was.
Yeah, hers took she ran like about a week behind me with all of her symptoms. So I could really kind of tally how long each of my symptoms took compared to hers, and the severity of the symptoms for each. But she did, even though she was vaccinated and boosted, she still got all of the same symptoms as I did, but definitely at a lower rate of. It just didn't affect her as much as long and as severe as it did me. So I would say after going through and watching someone else go through that was vaccinated, doing it all over again, vaccinated versus unvaccinated, there was about probably 2 days where I was just like, I can't even believe this. I need to it was just like,
And you said if you were to do it over again, you would have gotten vaccinated.
Yeah. The comparative was, yes, it would. I got through it. Yes, it was fine. No, I didn't have to go to the hospital. And I didn't really have a breathing issue with mine. I have really good lungs, thank goodness. But even that, you could definitely tell I was shortness of breath, but not anything.
You were just sick.
It would affect me, yeah.
Sicker than I've ever seen you.
Yeah, and I think I had pneumonia once when we were coming back from our Miami trip.
Yes.
That was pretty sick. That was
We all went to Miami on a cruise, and Alex got it first. Alex got strep throat, and we didn't realize he had strep throat. Got it on the cruise ship. And Alex got it, then Hope got it, then I got it, then Mark got it. We flew back to Colorado from Miami, and Alex was so sick, I brought him into the emergency room at the hospital.
Super lethargic, by the way. He was just
when we brought him in, he was starting to develop scarlet fever. And so then they had to take care of him in the emergency room. And then they wouldn't let me leave because I was so sick. They made me stay. They admitted me right away. I had like double pneumonia, bronchitis, strep throat.
And strep throat.
Like and then Hope had it too. And Hope was just a baby at the time. And we were all so sick. And all you had was pneumonia.
I didn't get the strep, but I got the pneumonia, so I got to
you
go
were sick.
home.
But you were the healthiest.
The least of the sick.
And that was pretty bad, but this was
worse.
This was pretty
worse.
bad.
I just felt absolutely, there was no break in it. It was always just a miserable feeling all the time. And now I did not take any antioxidants. I did not take any aspirin. I did not do any of that stuff. So I probably felt it worse because I don't like putting that stuff in my body. So I'm sure that if you would have gotten antibodies and you had it, or you would have taken medication, the severity wouldn't necessarily be felt as much. But that's not who I am, and I got to feel all the feel.
One lesson that we have learned from all this, and it's just from the testing and how long it takes to get a test, and then they want another test and a double negative test to get back to work, and then you got to wait another 3 days, and then if someone at work has COVID, and then you have to go home because you had close contact and take a test, and then it takes 3 days, and you're missing all that time from work. And generally, Mark is different, but because he's salary, but generally for the normal person, that's a lot of time to miss from work and not get paid to wait for a test. I really feel they dropped the ball as far as getting rapid tests done right away.
Testing should have been the most important thing. Because if everyone could test more frequently and have an absolute ease of doing it versus...
And fast results.
Then I don't think we'd be in near the shape. Now, the government did send out free tests. So those of you that haven't got it, you do get 4 free tests. Just go to...
4 rapid tests. And it's so easy. If you look under the post office, there's a site to go to, and I'll post it after we post this video. A site you can go to. It's so easy. You get 4 tests per house, and they're rapid tests, so you'll find out right away.
Yeah, and they're free.
Mm-hmm.
And 4 is enough for a household. I don't know how many people, but for nothing versus going to the store and paying $10 to $20.
They should have set that out right away, though.
That would have been nice to have.
Because people
right
can't.
Away.
That's why people are sick and are going to work and have COVID, because they can't afford to take the time off, wait for test results, and not get paid.
At-home testing is the way to go for a lot of people,
and
they don't have time to get in a car, wait in line, do all the swap, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Our daughter Hope also had COVID. Her symptoms were not as severe as ours, except she had horrible nightmares at night.
Yeah, she got the Omicron, I believe, because hers is more recent.
She'd wake up at night, and she said she would have like terrors in bed, and she'd like wake up and be screaming or think she was on fire, and that poor girl.
Yeah, that's not a great after effect.
But remember, Jennifer Aniston in the morning show had that too.
Yeah.
So that's right on that Hope had that. Yeah. Luckily, we didn't have any of that.
I did not have the night terror. I was lucky I was happy to sleep.
But we're all healthy now. We're all doing really good. Yeah. We're all healthy.
Recovered well, and Alex never did get it, and we both got it. So
yeah, COVID has really affected people a lot. One of the things that we noticed is, we had a lot of windstorms, and when you live in South Dakota, you get a lot of wind. And our fence finally...
It folded like just want to take a nap on the lawn.
Like a cheap suit.
I'm over. Like, I'm just going to, you know what? I'm going to stay down.
The windstorms were too much for our fence. We tried to save it, but...
no saving that fence.
And so we called a couple of different companies to come out and give us estimates on the fence. And wow.
What a difference in pricing on fence. And it's the exact same stuff that they're using, but one company versus another. So if you do decide to do any type of home renovation and you want to outsource for it, please get at least 3 estimates.
2 to 3 estimates.
2 to 3 estimates minimum, because we will be surprised that different companies do charge different prices for the same exact things.
Yeah, we had one company that, and only half our yard needs to get fenced. Half of our yard is chain linked and has to be that way because of the laws in Sioux Falls, the
sits on the
ordinances, and we're on a corner lot, you have to have a see-through fence to clear the corner. So only half of our yard needed fence, and one of the people wanted almost $12,000 for that. That's insane. And Mark called him, or I emailed him, and he said that to call him and we could work out a deal. Mark called him and he would not budge. And he told us that lumber is more expensive than gold these days.
Yeah. So we're like, oh, well, maybe we don't need a fence right now.
Yeah.
However...
But then our next one came out,
Quotes.
and they were way lower than that. Like, we had one that was a third of that, one that was a half that, and then one that was that price. So, it was all for the same stuff. So that was quite a bit of difference in quotes.
It made no sense. And I did call the guy, and when I asked him, was there any wiggle room that was really out of my budget, and I gave him my budget, and he's like, yeah, there's no wiggle room there at all. And wouldn't even consider budging off $1. It felt like it was insane. I'm like, really? Like, that's...
And I guess part of the reason why they
first
say
and best
lumber,
offer, I guess.
Lumber is so expensive is because we get our lumber from Canada, and with the borders not being open all the way, or the lumber companies getting their lumber down there, it's harder to do. And so they said that affects everything, even like the cost of building a house now. You can't just build a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house for under like $300,000 because of the cost of lumber.
Yeah, new construction won't touch a building under $300,000 because it's not worth their time to actually build it. Because they can't, there's no margin in there to sell it at that point.
Another interesting side effect of COVID is appliances. I had a friend of mine tell me that her refrigerator broke down over Thanksgiving, and they went to the big box stores to get a new refrigerator, and they could not find any name brand. They were out, and they said that they wouldn't be getting any. I mean, they could order it, but they needed something right away because their refrigerator was broken. So they had to get off-brand only, and by Christmas, the off-brand refrigerator was already broken. And then she couldn't get parts to fix the fridge for the off-brand.
Because it's an off-brand.
And then they couldn't get the parts. It's just, it's insane. Like everything, the way COVID has affected things, it's crazy. The same thing happened with Hope. Her computer broke down, her laptop. She took it into Geek Squad to get it fixed. I just got to say on a side note, we did not want her to take it to Geek Squad, but Hope wouldn't listen to us. She wanted to take it to Geek Squad. I would have preferred she had took it to a local person, but she's in North Carolina. That's the decision she made. She took it to Geek Squad. They had it for almost a month. They kept telling her they'd call her when they let her know. They told her the motherboard was burnt out. They had to send it in to get it fixed. Then she had to wait another 2-3 weeks. Then they finally call her and they tell her to come get the computer. There's nothing they can do because they can't get the parts to fix it.
Can't get the parts to fix it. So this is the problem we're running into everything now.
Yeah.
Is appliances are in demand and they can't make them as quick as they normally could, or can't ship them out quick enough. Between the shipping and the delivery, and
nothing is 2 days anymore.
All the prices have gone up. It's just
like Amazon Prime. You don't get anything 2 days anymore. That's a false. It's not 2 days anymore.
Not unless you're like in a city that has a hub. You won't get it that quickly.
And another thing we did is Mark and I tried something different this year. We decided to order our glasses online. Now, Mark hasn't ordered his yet because he wanted me to be the guinea pig.
You're the guinea pig. That way when I do mine, we'll see how it all works out and if there's any...
Yeah, because we both, because of our age, in our 50s,
dun, 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 dun.
we have to wear bifocals. And so you have to have special design lenses for that. So that's been an interesting process to order online. And I ordered my glasses, and it's supposed to take 5 to 7 days. So far, it's taken 2 weeks.
Yes, because why? Why is it taking so long?
Because of the Chinese New Year.
Chinese New Year, they're
and
celebrating.
COVID.
And between those two things, they decided to take some time off.
Everything's affected from COVID. Another interesting thing is We bought Hope an iPhone for her birthday and Christmas this year, and we sent that to her, and to try and get her phone registered, which should be very simple to do with Straight Talk.
It was an unlocked phone, so it could take any SIM card. It can take any Verizon, AT&T.
It took us 3
T-Mobile,
weeks
whatever.
to get her phone activated. Why? Because one, Straight Talk doesn't have the people. Every time you call, you have to wait online like an hour to get help. And then they hang up.
Then they hang up if they transfer you.
Every time they transfer you, the call automatically gets disconnected. And I mean every single time.
My advice, if you do get someone that you get a hold of, make them stay on the line until the connection is made to the next person.
That's what Mark begged somebody to help him, and that's what he did. He literally stayed on the line the whole hour it took for the transfer for a person to answer the phone and to help us, and that still didn't solve our problems.
Still didn't solve the problems.
It took us 3 weeks to get her iPhone connected to a tower. So
unbelievable.
And all this is COVID and customer service. It's just crazy. And another thing we've noticed is the restaurants around here, especially the restaurants around here, they are still, because South Dakota, they never closed down for COVID.
Really.
Never closed down. Don't have mask mandates. None of that stuff. And everybody goes out to eat. The restaurants are all full. They always have been. The problem with that is you have one waitress who's running a whole restaurant, a whole room, because staff is sick with COVID.
Yep.
Cooks are sick with COVID. And then you have rude people who don't understand that they're going out to eat during a pandemic and they're going to have to wait. And they don't like waiting. And they're rude. And they're yelling at the wait staff.
Yeah, it's a tough time for everybody. We really should exercise the word patience with everyone.
If you're going to order takeout, you're going to have to wait. If you're going to go to a restaurant, you're going to have to wait for your food. It's just the way of life now. Every restaurant is short-staffed here.
Right. Say you only have a staff of 15. Well, someone gets COVID, bam, 5 of them are out. All of a sudden, you're down to just one person per shift. It's hard.
Our favorite pizza restaurant, they keep opening and closing, because they're a mom and pop business, and they're an older couple that run it, and they got COVID, and they have to close down, and then their other family got COVID, then they had to close down another 2 weeks, and it's a circle, but people are... tempers, the rudeness, the people yelling at these poor cashiers and these retail people who are just doing their best and doing their jobs, and they get yelled at. It's a hard time. Patience is a virtue right now.
Mm-hmm.
And understanding and kindness.
Just know that they're doing all they can. They have a job to do as well.
Yes. Yep. And that's kind of our COVID talk.
COVID time's over. All right.
Another thing we've been dealing with is our dog, Izzy.
Yes. She is in the latter part of her life. She's probably got less than, let's say at least 3-4 months left.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We just don't know. She's been very sick. She's almost 16. She has been very sick. We brought her into the vet, because at night she stays up coughing. She sounds like a smoker.
She does. And
so we finally took her to the vet to see what was going on. And she has lung cancer and is in congestive heart failure. And she was diagnosed with that in October. And she is still here.
She's a little trooper, that one.
She still is getting around. She's still causing trouble, good trouble, but she's getting weaker and weaker.
She's had a few bad days where she's just barely herself.
Yeah.
She's
almost signs of like dementia. She doesn't know where she is. She's also deaf and blind at this point now too. So you kind of, when you approach her, you have to approach her with ease, and you have to touch her because she doesn't hear or see you coming.
She doesn't see you. She doesn't hear you. So every time you just don't want to go up to her real quick.
And you can't move things around. Like they tell you to keep the furniture and everything the same so that they don't lose their bearings. And I bought a mini trampoline that I've been working out on. And I had the trampoline in the middle of the room. And I jump and watch my Judge Judy or my Judge shows and jump on my trampoline. And Izzy will come running from the kitchen to the living room and practically decapacitate herself because she'll run right under the trampoline and she hits it with her head. Oh my gosh, she's so funny. We have been dealing with that. She doesn't sleep good at night.
No, so yeah, our sleep habits have gotten shortened as well. So we're getting less sleep because she's getting less sleep because she's just dealing with basically pressure on her lungs. Her breaths have been shorter and shorter and shorter because she can't take deep breaths because of that.
And she can't do any kind of exercise at all, like going downstairs or anything. It makes her just go into almost like she's having a seizure.
Yeah, so she needs to be super chill, which she is.
You know, it's been interesting. We love her so much. It's hard watching her go through this, but she still isn't at the point to go yet either. And that's the hard part of all this is the vets don't really tell you. You don't know what to do.
When do you know it's the proper time to go ahead and take that next step with your animal?
I mean, she's not incontinent. She still eats. Mm-hmm. She still does all those things. She's not in pain. I guess you're supposed to know when you know. It's so hard because we just don't know. Does she just one day, will we just be able to tell she's in pain?
I think if she has like a whole bunch of bad days in a row where she has no energy and we have to be carrying her around.
And she doesn't eat.
She doesn't,
But the vets don't even talk to you about this stuff. They just kind of give you the bad news and then they say, well, she's too old to have any operations, so just take her home. And they start talking quality of life. Well, yeah, that was 3 months ago.
I know.
She's still I thought she'd die right away when we got that news.
I think they said that she has only up to 3 months and she's already past that.
Yeah, so they usually live 2 to 3 months after that.
She wants to keep playing in the world. I don't blame her.
She doesn't want to leave us. So we've been dealing with that, and that's been hard for us because we've grown so attached to her. I mean, she is Hope's dog. We got her when Hope was in first grade. But, Hope abandoned her. You abandoned her, Hope. You abandoned her. You went back to North Carolina and you left her with us. Yep. Just like what Andy did with Buzz and Woody in Toy Story.
Yeah.
That's what Hope did to Izzy.
Got left behind.
Yep.
Like Woody and the friends.
Oh, but she took Chester with her. We know who's really important.
She got her lizard.
And Chester's still doing great.
Yes. Chester, the bearded dragon, is doing really well. And
speaking of Hope, another thing with COVID is we haven't got to spend any time with her. The last time we saw her was my 50th birthday party. And that was a couple of years ago. We got to bring her home in October.
Yeah, we went ahead and bought some tickets to fly her and her new boyfriend,
Greyson,
who we wanted to meet as well.
Well, he's not new. He's new to us. She's been dating him for a couple of years.
Yes.
And so we got to bring them home and we got to meet him and spend time with her. And she's doing great. So good. A little too skinny for my taste.
She's very happy, though.
Yeah, she's very happy. She's very happy. Since she's been living in North Carolina, she's rented rooms in friends' homes, and she just finally got her first house.
Yeah, they're moving into a nice house
in Garner.
Which is
and it's it's all wooded, and it's a really beautiful area. She's doing really great at her job. She loves North Carolina, and we had such a good time spending time with her. We spent a lot of time with my family, Mark's family, all of our families together.
Yep, it was good to see my sisters.
Yes, Mark's sisters came in town. Also, that was the other thing, because we haven't got to really spend any time with them. And 2 of his sisters that live in Connecticut came back. And one of his sisters that lives in Rapid City came. And we got to spend time with them. So that was really nice.
That was nice to get caught up with the big sisses.
Yeah, it sure was. So we have enjoyed spending time with our family and seeing everybody again. It's been nice being back in Sioux Falls.
Yeah, it's been with COVID to bring it out. It's harder, but we have tried to do what we can to try and see family.
Yep, and another fun thing we did this year is we bought a new car. car.
Yes, we bought a new car. We bought it before all the prices started going crazy.
Mark and I did a lot of research on buying a car. It came down to a couple of what really made our decision for us was we went to our mechanic and we asked him if he were us looking at a new car, what would you not buy and what would you buy? And he said he would stick, especially now with COVID, with an American-made car.
Yeah.
Because it's just easier to buy the parts.
Yeah.
If it breaks down, to get it fixed, to get it shipped in, all that kind of stuff. So we ended up buying a Ford.
We got a 2021 Ford Escape with all of 7 miles on it when we first got it.
Yeah.
And so far it's been great. But I think we paid, I want to say $26,000. It didn't have too many other bells and whistles. We got some bigger wheels, and one other little extra thing on it. So it wasn't like it was too far above base price. However, I was driving the Ford parking lot and looking at 2020 used Escapes for more than we paid brand new. I think it was like $29,000-$30,000. It had way many more miles on it a year earlier.
Well, I read an article that said...
we got ours right in time, I think.
Well, I read an article that said that used cars that were going for about $5,000 just a couple of years ago are now going for about $12,000. Those same used cars.
That's crazy. So along with everything else, as much money as the government pumped into the economy, it is now everything else is going up in price quicker than the amount that they're printing, I believe.
So that's been crazy, but we have enjoyed our car. We had a little Kia and we love her, but she's not the best on snow. And we needed a car. If we're going to be here and settle down here for a while, we needed a car that Mark could get around on the snow and ice with.
Yeah, needed a decent winter car.
Mm-hmm.
So we got our winter car. Now we're good to go.
Yeah. Alex is still driving his Ford Taurus. His 2004 Ford Taurus.
It's got like 1 billion miles on it. I mean, I bought it in Carolina as it was a state car. And at that time, I think it had
and we just bought
80,
it as a backup car. Yeah.
And now I think it almost has 300,000.
I mean, that was Alex's first car he got when he was a teenager. And he's 28 years old and he's still driving it.
He doesn't want to give it up. It doesn't look the greatest either, by the way.
It's all banged up on the side. The window on the driver's side won't go up, so he has to tape it. It's like a total ghetto car. It's got it's all the whole side is scraped and bent in. It's got black paint where someone scraped the whole side of it. He doesn't care.
Doesn't care.
As long as it still turns on every day.
That engine still starts up.
Yeah.
Amazing engine on that Taurus. We got lucky with that one.
Yeah.
That one's never going to leave.
And that's kind of what's been going on with us. That's what's been happening in our world. We're sorry it's been a minute. We just have had so much going on.
We've been busy like everyone else. And, on top of that, we all have to work and try and do our little renovations.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of renovations, before Hope came, Mark totally repainted the living room. We painted it this really pretty... It used to be like a tannish, beigeish kind of color. And we really thought about what color we wanted it. And we thought we really wanted the light in the room because the walls are textured. Our walls are not drywall. They are, what's it called? Plaster.
Yep, we have the plaster walls in
our
room.
house. Well, in our whole house.
Yeah, all of them.
And so they're different kind of walls and they absorb the paint differently. So you have to mindful of what kind of paint you use.
There's grooves, there's everything else. Mm-hmm. For me, versus regular drywall painting, it took way more paint.
Yeah, it soaks it up. Yeah, it absorbs, yeah. And so we went with this white color. I think it's called Pointing. It's by Farrell and Ball. And it is white, but it's like a soft white with a tint of red in it.
Hue of like a rose color.
And it is so pretty
Very
on
nice
the
look.
walls. It's really, really nice.
You should take a snapshot.
Yeah.
And that you can post the color and also where we got it as well. It was England, right? It was over English color.
Mm-hmm. And it's white and it pops nicely with our hardwood floors. And we bought new curtains and we just updated the living room and We changed our fixtures. We got a really nice ceiling fan. We used to have kind of like a candelabra thing that kind of hung from there,
Yeah.
but it was old and falling apart.
Just didn't look great.
And the room just got hot, so we needed a ceiling fan in there. But we don't have a lot of, what do I want to say, height. So
and we
had to
didn't
get
want chains either on those.
Yes,
so we
yeah.
had to go with the remote, which is a little more, and the design is great.
Minka. We got a Minka fan. It turned out great. And a little hack that I thought was great that Mark came up with is we live in an old house. It's a 100-year-old house. And where the heat source comes from, the vents, they have these old covers on them. And they're old rackety covers, and you can't really update them. You can't really find them anywhere to get nice ones because they're old and it's how the house was. But I didn't like them because they were kind of rusty and but Mark found this metal spray paint.
Yeah, it's called, I think it was a bronze hammered look.
Oh.
Krylon makes it, and it's that hammered paint.
And
it doesn't go on quite the same, but yeah, it gives you that a little bit of a rougher look. It really turned out nice.
Oh, they turned out so great. It looks so much better. And what a change. Just that little change. And then I bought some new light switch covers.
Vincent Van Gogh, right?
Yep. And just those little changes have really made a difference in there. And next, we're going to be tackling the kitchen.
Yee-hoo.
We want to take our electric stove out and put a gas stove in. We want to totally repaint all the kitchen, take out the countertops, and we want to put a new farm sink in there.
Farm sink with the Corian top, and we'll get new appliances as well. We got a new fridge ripped out of there. We're going to do the floors ourselves.
Yep, we're going to do the flooring ourselves.
But we will have the Corian.
I don't think we're going to change the cabinets.
Well, as far as painting, and we'll whatever maintenance is going to be on us. We'll probably want to paint them a different color. We're also going to get a new light fixture in there too.
Yeah, because we have like a galley style kitchen, so you need like track lighting in there.
And
but it's old, slimy. It's got like built-in dirt on it. It needs to get
rip it out and put a new and updated version with. We're gonna try and get ceiling fans in those as well.
Yeah,
on each end. So that's gonna be interesting.
So we'll see, but that's gonna be our next project. We'll do before and afters as we tackle that project. When Mark starts his vacation, the honey-do lists come out.
Yeah. There's playtime and there's work time when there's vacation time for me. There's stuff to do, and then we're gonna do the things that we want to do on vacation as well.
And there you have it. And up next is Valentine's Day's around the corner. We hope everybody has a happy Valentine's Day.
Yep, Super Bowl coming up. If you're going for the Rams or you're going for the Bengals, both teams are not there very often, so either of them I'm going for Rams just because I'm a Lions fan and hoping that Stafford can get one. He's earned it. Being stuck in Detroit for a dozen years.
And right around our corner is our 30th wedding anniversary.
Yeah, and I think we'll talk about what we do then. I think we've got some ideas where we're going to go. We want to try and stay local.
Yep.
So we'll try another local place for somewhere to go.
And we'll let you know.
Yeah, we'll let you know how that all goes.
It's been good checking in with everybody.
Yes, it's been a good recap.
Remember, everybody, take care of yourselves. Be kind to people.
Yeah, I'm just going to say have a little patience, right? Have a little patience. Patience is very, very important right now.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Till next time.